Cool, yeah. So let's just go over some of the brushes and some of the practices. Let me see. So what's over here? My course, I have my course strokes on this one. So I got the lettering template from everytuesday.com. They're free. Here are my course strokes and fingers crossed. Oh, good. So do you have that one saved already, Nikki?
That one, yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So pull that one up and then add an additional layer on top of it. So that way that way you'll be lettering on the blank one and not on your hard copy one.
I think I have that one in the other one. What do you call it?
The blank ones?
Where it has just the lines.
Yep. So yeah, so let's do this one. So what you do is when you're practicing at home, I'm gonna switch over to my black brush and I guess I can use the script one. So I'm in the calligraphy and script brush is the one I'm gonna use. And then
Is the
a lot of people for calligraphy like to keep their streamline all the way up.
Okay, that's what I was going to use. What's
Yeah.
the whole jitter fall off spacing thing?
If you play with it, what it does, this one for this brush, you see how everything is made of tiny little dots?
Uh,
And when it's closer together, that's what makes your that's what makes your line. But if you increase it, what it does is it spaces it out. So
gotcha,
if you're trying to play with texture, that is something that you can do.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And just a reminder that if anybody is playing with their brushes, to make a copy of it instead and then play with it and don't, because the only thing I mess with the original is the streamline, but everything else I always create a copy. And in order to create a copy, you just swipe to the left and then you press duplicate, and then that creates a copy for you, and it has this little squiggly line that means that that is a new brush. And if you want to get rid of it, you just swipe to the left and press delete, and
Now,
don't delete your original.
somebody says that there's more brushes, like the hair brushes and stuff like that. Is that something you download or you make?
You can make or download. So there are people out there that do free brushes, and you can download those down. Or if you're comfortable, you can start playing with some of your own as well. Like like I made a star brush myself.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So so if you're sometimes I'm just too lazy to figure out who has a free brush. So there are a couple of um, tutorials out there that shows you how to make your own brushes, and that for that one I just wanted just the star, and it was easier for me just to make my own brush.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so calligraphy script, we're just gonna do some practices. So again, we zoom in. uh for anybody that's going to be new to calligraphy, when you're going up it's always light, when you're going down it's harder, it's a thicker stroke. So we just practice going up. And with the script brush, you can really tell when your pressure changes. Right now, what's my size is about 13, 14. And it's easier to go harder down with more consistency than it is to go up. And with calligraphy, it's just something that requires a lot of practice and muscle memory.
When the grandmas are grown up.
No, he's not stupid at all.
Yeah. So even my ups right here are not that consistent yet. But I think it's really nice using the script brush or a brush that changes the width and based on your pressure, so then you can actually see how you're doing. Here, sometimes you run into this weird um, pointed thing at the bottom right here, where it's just like, why is it not straight? And that's just the way the brush is built. So if in order to avoid that, what you can do is when you get back down to the bottom, you slightly bring it back up. So you swipe down. So if you let go, then it has that taper. But if you don't want that taper, you bring it down and then you bring it slightly back up. So you trace it back up, and you should no longer have that weird taper thing. So people do like to do those. I'm going to continue working with these are the basic brushes of calligraphy. So light going up, harder going down. And then for those also that me watching the video that's new to calligraphy, calligraphy is not cursive. So when you're done with one stroke, lift up your pen and then start your next stroke. Like, you just get to drill these all day. Are you have primarily trouble with the upstrokes, Nikki? Or is it?
My transition from up and up, but that makes sense with the whole light up and dark down.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Mine is the whole transition because I have a very heavy hand. So
Mm-hmm. And you know what? In the future, it might end up being your style, rather than having one where you have such super thin lines, your style just might be from thick to thicker.
right. If I go any thicker, I'll probably break the glass in this thing. Or the tip of this.
And then what's nice about, Procreate as well is that you can change the canvas direction so it feels more natural for you. Just
Yeah,
like you normally would on paper.
Best way. Sometimes I just don't.
I think for a while the ascending loops and descending loops were the hardest things for me. Like, piece of crap. Because you don't want to make them too round. Usually for a lot of the calligraphy masters that I do follow, they do more oval. So theirs is more oval like this and not round like that.
Gotcha.
Again, lifting up your pen at the end of each stroke. And the W. And then since this is on it's not on my actual layer, it's on my clear layer that I created, I can erase everything and then start all over again. So anybody that's going to be watching this later, these are the basic strokes of calligraphy. So let's go over to the other one, that's the lettering guide. And I can go over quickly over I like the slanted one, the different names. Again, this is from everytuesday.com. So the ascender height is when you have things that are like your H's, things or F's that go all the way up. Your cap height is like, I guess like you can just go like this and stop there, or you can go all the way up that way. That's how it is. Your X height right here is normally the base, and that's what makes like where the your main circle or main letter is going to be. All of your words are going to be that height usually. That's the baseline, that's the bottom of the letter. And then your descender is if you are going for things like an F or a G. So those are the different aspects of, and I bet you I did this on the wrong layer. I did do it on the wrong layer. So what I have to do is I'm going to delete all of these, because by doing it on the wrong layer, if I try to erase it, it actually erases my entire template. So again, I keep this as an angle that is nice for me, and then at home, what you just have to do is you just have to start practicing your lettering. And then in the future, you'll be able to develop your own style. Like that one. So just 2 fingers to tap, and that reverses. Oops, I didn't like that one. You see how everything is going to be its own stroke. Where do I want my F to be in? Let's go. Stroke. See, and then like if I'm gonna play with a different brush right now so people can see this. So this right now we've been working with a script. We'll work with a brush. I'm using the brush pen now just so people can see the difference between the two. So the angle on these guys are a little bit different.
Oh, I like that one better.
Obviously, I do not remember how to do my uppercase letters. It's been a while apparently. Because I don't remember how the heck I did the calligraphy for these.
Fade.
And for a lot of people, the uppercase letters are actually harder. And actually, to be now that I'm thinking about it and kind of playing with it, it is harder because I can't remember how the heck to do them.
That's what we need, the whole alphabet.
Okay. Yeah. That's like, so just play with different brushes. Procreate has a lot of them. Okay. Nikki, do you have the picture that I sent to you saved yet?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So what we do now is we'll create a new canvas. We'll do it. I like to do, like I said, the 8.5 by 11 with 300, and then let's upload that picture in.
Mm.
So wrench tool, add, insert a photo, my recent. So now that one I'm gonna rename as my original. Let me know when you got it in.
Okay.
Cool, yeah. So the first layer that we put on, we'll just call it original, and then we'll create a new layer. That will be our tracing layer. I'm actually going to, this time next, where I'm gonna pull out a grid. So have you played with the grid yet, Nikki?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the wrench tool. We're gonna go to canvas, and then turn on drawing guide. So what drawing guide does is it turns on this grid for you.
Oh, I see.
Yep, and then I'm gonna do edit drawing guide. What was right underneath it.
Okay.
This pops up. You're gonna go down to grid size and then press on that pixels. I'm gonna change it to inches and do 0.5 inch. I think that's what I was doing yesterday, I believe. About there. And then press done. So I was doing half an inch. And then you're gonna press done. Sometimes we accidentally press this white one instead, and when it's a white background, you can't see it, and people are like, "Oh no, where'd my grid go?" Just make sure that you're pressing done and that you're not pressing the white. And then you can change the thickness of your grid depending on how thick you want to see it, and then you can also change the opacity as well. So what was it? We can just do 70, I think. That's May thickness 60, and that's just personal preference and what you feel like playing with later. That's done. Perfect. So now this is the grid. This is the grid when I was creating this yesterday on how to make all my lines straight. So I'm gonna turn my original layer, press on the N, and turn the opacity down to about 65. That's good. And then I'm going to go back to my layer 2. I'm gonna grab my script brush.
Wait a second. How did you do? Oh, never mind. No problem.
I'm gonna grab my script brush, and then I think I'm gonna try white again. Let me see if white will show up. And then I'm gonna start my tracing. You might not see it. No, you can't really see it on that one. What color is a better color? I'm gonna do red. Yeah. You can choose any color you want, but for now I'm just gonna choose red so that way I can see what I'm tracing on. What brush size am I at? Do I like this size? What I'm doing right now is testing to see, I'm changing my brush size against what the original looks like and see if I like that size. And right now I think I'm at 28, 29. I'll take it.
Now here's the thing I got with this brush grip, or the brush, yeah, the brush grip. That it seems as though if I take off the pressure, it does not take off. It doesn't. What do you call it? It lightens the color. It doesn't, get small. It gets smaller, but it also lightens the color. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's in your script brush?
Oh, hold on. Yes.
Oh, interesting. Let's take a look. Because my color stays the same.
Or maybe it was the other brush.
But I know the brush pen does that.
Okay.
The brush pen, when you lighten it, it does get thinner, but it's also lighter when you let go.
Right.
So the opacity changes. I think that's why I like the script brush, because its opacity is the same the entire way through. But you
Gotcha.
can always play with it as well under when you first click onto it
Hmm.
in under taper. You can
Right.
always play with these in the future, and then you can play with the size and you can play with the opacity
Okay.
of things. But again, if we're gonna play with it, to make sure that you make a copy of it rather than work with the original.
Gotcha.
So I think yeah, my brush size should be about 28 right now. Draw it through, and it doesn't have to be exact because we're just working on a basis. So for the brush pen, you're gonna use the Get Out. I also used it for the and then for the Matters. So we'll do Get Out and then Matters. And I kind of just gave up on the Matters. I was too lazy to think of how I wanted to write it. So I cheated and I just settled on working close enough. So here right now, there's that weird lumpy thingy that I don't like, where I let go and it has that weird taper. So I'm gonna go back and redo it, but I make sure that when I do it, I'm gonna bring it back up just slightly so I no longer have that taper. Bring up for the slight taper. What you run into?
Oh, I kind of went backwards and then went too far backwards and yeah.
Oh, well, if you went too far backwards, you can redo it.
Yeah, I did but when I went to redo it, I put a little stroke on there, so I had to undo it, and then everything in front of it went, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's my luck.
And then I'm gonna turn off my original to see if I'm missing anything. And I'm missing the T portion down here. Not that it touched my arm. I did not like
I guess
that. Cool,
so.
yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
so
so now we're in brush and we're going monoline.
yep, monoline. Let me see what size I feel like. Ah, well, actually, I don't know what that size. 30. I'm at 30. Yeah, I'm about 30, 31. And so for these ones, because especially for that vote where it's straight, what I do is I draw the line, I hold it down, and then if I want to snap, I can hold my finger, I'll snap. And then there we go. I'm just gonna draw it. I don't need to snap because it's already created for me. But if I wanted to change it, it snaps to 15 degree increments. Here, I don't need it to be, and now it's snapping by itself. Fine, whatever. It's also very interesting when people are like, "Oh, where do I find this SVG?" Right?
Right.
And especially when it's like something simple where it's just lettering, and I'm like, "Wait, you can just type that in yourself."
Yeah. Somebody, what was it? I made some onesies for my grandson, and they're just words. I just typed them on the thing, and they're like, "Do you have the SVG for that?" I'm like, no, I didn't use an SVG. I said I just typed it on there.
Hmm.
Oh, do you by chance have that saved? Oh, no, I don't.
And like for the O's, again, you can draw your circle as you need. Hold it down, and it would automatically snap, change it to an ellipse for you. Then you can edit shape, and then change the shape as you like. Cool.
I have to admit that's pretty slick.
And that also happens with the curves as well. If you hold on to them, they will also automatically make a nice shape for you, and then you just go in to edit shape, and you just play with it. This one does not like me as much, so I will make some edits on it. Go in. On the I'm actually going to change my erase brush over to monoline. It's too big. Erase that down. So it looks okay. Close enough. Especially for the T's, if you want them to be going straight down and not at a weird angle, draw the line and then hold that finger and it would automatically snap down so that way it's completely straight and then not at a weird angle. My T's, these ones are good. Right thing. Obviously, you can tell when I was drawing this last night, I forgot that I can snap down to the correct angle. That's the same when you're going at 90. That one does not work. When you're going at 90 degrees, it works. Now, this is going to be the first year that a lot of my cousins are going to be allowed to vote.
Wow.
Yep. So I told them, I don't care who the heck you vote for, and if the family asks you who you voted for, you're under no obligation to tell them to who you voted for.
Absolutely.
You can tell them to shove it. And if you need somebody to come and bat for you to tell them to mind their own damn business, let me know.
Right.
Yeah, because both my uncle, one of my uncles, and myself, um, are big proponents of that because my family is very conservative when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to politics, which is like different than mine, which is fine, but it's like, but they also, they also have to respect that,
Right.
right? So yeah, and it's like I'm
I
not gonna get in this argument with you.
I tried to tell my daughter a long time ago. I said, I don't want to know who you voted for. She goes, well, I want to tell you. I said, you can, but don't ask me to comment on it because that's your choice, not mine.
Mhm. No, one of my the youngest uncle, who I'm not a big fan of, he asked my brother, "Hey, who'd you vote for, Henry?" And I'm like, Henry, don't answer that question. It's a trick question.
It's a trick question. Yeah.
Yeah, there are certain people that you can talk to about what's going on, and then there's other people where you just can't. It doesn't matter what you do.
I told my daughter a long time, don't ask me about religion, don't ask me about politics. I don't give a shit about either one. It's just everybody has their opinions on it, and everybody's going to be conflicted. And I have seen it cause a lot of issues trying to get somebody's point across.
I got the vote, and now as you can tell, when you get down to the because it, I did not fix the T, so you're gonna have to fix that. I'm a big fan of the monoline one because you've seen the ornaments where it's like uh, it's a very popular font.
Right,
You've seen it for like the ornaments for like the Rudolph, for like the reindeers, right?
right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the monoline, like you don't need, like, if you feel like creating your own, you can just use the monoline brush and use pretty much make the same effect. Because that font that they normally use for that one isn't very rigid. It looks handwritten, and here you can use handwritten. And so yesterday when I was creating this, I was using this grid line as my height, as my X height, make sure that everything matched. Here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do the eye all the way out here, and the eye can get straight.
Mm. Gotta be bigger.
So Nikki, I want to show you this portion real quick. So I created the it specifically very far away because as earlier when I was drawing, when I was originally drawing this O and this T, like when I made the original, it was like the spacing was all off because I was just like, I'm just gonna draw it on, I'll fix it later. That's the nice thing about Procreate is that, remember, because this is all on one layer, the vote because it is all on one layer. If I press this button, then it changes all of it. But if I only want to move certain things around, I can use the selection tool, my freehand, I can just select my T, and then I can move that over. And I can select my I and move that over without affecting the rest of the layer.
Right on.
And then if you want to make small increments, you just tap in the direction that you want to go, and it will make smaller increments,
Oh, right on.
like pixel by pixel. My eye's all off. Redo that entire bottom. Yeah. What's going on? That looks good. I'll take that. I will take that. Clean some of this up. And then let me know when you're done.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Get out here a little bit smaller. Nope. Actually, we'll redo that. Brushed to be trying to erase it.
Not much. How about you? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I know. Yes, dear.
Hey, you.
Are we good to go, or you have a little bit more? Nice. Perfect. Okay. So what we do now is I'll turn off the original layer. We don't need that anymore. And then I'm going to merge my layer 2 and my layer 3. I'm going to merge down. You click on the button on the picture and then merge down. Now here's the fun part. Okay. So I like to, like I said, I don't like my background being white. I'm going to change my background color to a gray. And then I'm going to change it back to the original where my PNG was actually a white. So there's 2 ways to do this. The first way, I'm going to show you how to do it. So that way, let me see what it's going to do is you go to your layer 2, which is all your lettering. You're going to click on it and put alpha lock. And then when it's alpha locked, you can see that there is a checkered board behind it. That means that you can only draw on what's already painted on your screen. It will not draw off on the side. So I'm actually going to change my color over to white. I'm going to change my brush from airbrushing and hard airbrush. And then I'm going to increase my size, and then I'm going to paint.
Oh, no shit.
Parts white. So this is when it's alpha locked. That's kind of cool. It's fun.
Yeah. that's like pretty cool.
Yep. So now I'm actually gonna paint the whole thing white now. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like when I was just painting portions of it. The disadvantages of alpha lock is that you're painting on your original layer, which means that you can't make changes to it. Like if you want to change the saturation of a certain portion, or if you want to redo it altogether, you can't do that like you as easily as you can with this next portion. Let me know when you finish painting it all white.
Oh, that is just like too cool.
Yeah, so like it's the
I turned it all blue.
yeah. Okay. So the next one now we get to play with now. So that was alpha lock. I'm gonna go back in and turn off alpha lock. And then I'm gonna create a new layer. And let me see, which brush do I like? I'll try the soft brush, which is right underneath the hard airbrush. And then we're just gonna randomly start picking colors. I'm just gonna default a palette. I'm gonna use the Flourish palette that they have as set default, just so that I don't have to pick colors. And then I'm gonna start picking colors, and then I'm just gonna paint it however I want. Right now, let's do I'm gonna do a radial one, which means that I'm just gonna draw everything in a circle like this.
Dude, what?
Yep, just paint this on a new layer.
Okay.
So layer 3, just start painting colors onto it. So now you can no longer see your wording. I cannot speak today. Okay. Okay, now the cool part is after you create this, let me know when you're ready so I can show you. Yeah? Okay. So you're gonna go to your layers, that layer 3 you have, click on it, and then press clipping mask.
Imagine that. Right.
So what that does is that it clips your top layer to right on top of the layer right below it. So you just clipping mask. Yep. And when I turn off, did it work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now let's turn off the clipping mask so you can see this again.
Uh-huh.
And then we're gonna go over to the adjustments so that we can play with the different blurs. Actually, do I like this one? Oh yeah, we can continue this one. Okay, so the first one is going to be the Gaussian blur. You click on that blur, and then what you do is you just press your pen and you drag it across, and that you just drag it across your screen, and that causes blending of your layers.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, that causes the blending of your layers. So now that way, if I change the clipping mask back on, and now it doesn't have those harsh lines that it was previously. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this clipping mask. I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to change this. Might as well make it patriotic.
Right.
right? So I'm gonna do here, make that bigger. That's way too big. Red up there, red down here. So it's a fun way just to like, it's like, nope, that's too big too. The Gaussian blur will blur all that together. And then I create the clipping mask down. And see right here, because it tried to clip to the missing layer rather than to the layer that was right above my drawing, you can't see anything. So if you move that down, there.
Oh.
Yeah. So then if like it's really cool because you can make like sunset colors and stuff like that and it blends out really well. And then the reason why I like to do clipping mask rather than using alpha lock like we did earlier to change everything to a single color is because if I don't like this anymore, all I have to do is I can just delete the layer,
Right.
or I can turn it off. So I can just turn it off without affecting my original layer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Okay, so let's create another layer now. And then this time I'm going to show you a different aspect of it. We're just going to do, I'm just going to do a bunch of spots.
Oh.
Do, 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 do. And I bet you if is it your grandsons that's with you?
No, that's the little boy that's he's what do you call it? He's his brother, his big brother is helping out my other
Oh,
half.
okay, I see. Yeah.
So
If you have any kids in your family, as soon as they figure out this next portion, they're gonna be sitting there playing all day. So I just make random spots everywhere. I think that looks like fun. Let's see what motion blur does. I don't think motion blur does.
I wanted to try to see about getting my daughter's a used iPad or something because both of them are very talented drawing otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And Brittany, because the fact that she's got 3 children running around, doesn't have the space to keep her stuff where the kids won't get into it.
Yep.
So I was like, well, maybe I could try, but I haven't found one yet used that can do what it needs it to do.
Gotcha. So you just get random paint spots on there yet?
Yep.
I don't know what perspective blur is. Okay, so next we're gonna use the adjustments tool. And then I wanted to show you noise, what noise does. Let me see. I don't know. Noise might not be a good one on this one. I'm actually going to turn off my grid as well, my drawing guide. Oh, this means that I made a blur somewhere and it didn't do. Nope. Apparently my blur was like that. I'm going to turn off my drawing guide real quick. And then we're going to go to liquify. So adjustments and liquify. This is where I think your grandkids are going to love it. Did you find the liquify button?
Yeah.
Okay. So like the push button, when you press on the screen, you can drag your paints whatever way you want it to do. And then if you want to reset it, on the far right button, you just press reset and it changes back to what it was before. And then there's a twirl right and there's a twirl left. So you can literally just tap on the screen and it starts blurring your paints together. And then the pinch will bring things in. The expand will push things out. The crystals are kind of fun too. It creates more noise for your paints. Edge, I haven't really done much with edge. I don't know what the heck that does. It kind of pushes things together. Reconstruct, adjust, and then reset again. And here, like if I want to twirl left or twirl right, I can change the size of it so that way the swirls are different sizes. Here's my bigger size, the pressure, the amount of distortion. And for a lot of people, it's actually quite therapeutic.
Oh yeah, this is better than the Zen garden thing that I got.
Yeah. And then after you're done, you're like, let's see what it looks like. All you have to do again is go back to your layer, make sure it's right above that text layer that we were working on, and then do clipping mask. Bam! Now it's like a weird tie-dye.
Should we go where?
So,
No shit. I did that all in the wrong layer.
was it on your drawing layer? That's okay. Well, then what's nice is that as long as you don't press out of the gallery, you can reset everything. So all you have to do is just keep tapping until, or just hold the tapping. So what you can do is you just hold it down and it'll reverse it for you up until where you want it to be. It happens. That's like the whole trial and error. And I can bet you that even a like a seasoned graphic designer forgets that they're on a certain layer, and then they go back and they're like, oh, I can't believe I have to do that all over again.
Yeah, it's too bad you can't just pick it up and put it somewhere else.
Let me see if I want to do something with this.
Mm.
And then what's nice is like here, if I wanted more of the effect, I can always go back to my original layering, and then I can just actually I can drag and drop in. That was pretty cool. I like that. So in case if I didn't like the fact that if this right here was all empty, again, what you can do, because I made it as a clipping mask, right? Here,
Right.
I'm back in my lettering one, and then I'm gonna drag and drop so that way it fills up with white, and when it fills up with white,
It fills up with the clipping.
it fills up with that clipping mask layer.
Right on.
Let me see what. I don't think I like this color. What other colors did I play with? And then it was really, and then you can play with, you know, any portion of things. It's like, oh, make sure I'm on the mat, I'm on the layer, wrong color. Really ugly orange, very dark white. So I did the rainbow for this one,
Right.
and then it's really harsh lines, right? So what I do is I just activate the blur
Right.
and then push it over and then reset. Why are you not working for me? It normally would work. Why? I think I just have to exit out of it. Reset, blur. There we go. And it's now nice and like blended together. And then I'm going to, oh, nope, I'm gonna flip mask that down. And again, the reason why it's not showing up because it's not right above my text layer, it's above an empty layer, so I have to move that down. I'm gonna reactivate this and then just clipping mask one more time. But I kind of like that one. Now if I want purple. And here, if you always want, you can also just make edits right on that layer as well. So I'm on the right layer and I kind of want to change it a little bit more. Oh, I would like